Imagine waking each morning with an unwavering sense of purpose, a calm mind unaffected by the world's noise, and a focus sharpened on what truly matters. This vision isn't a distant ideal reserved for the superhuman. It was the daily reality of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor. His meditations, preserved across centuries, offer us not only reflections on life, but a guide to cultivating self-discipline, resilience, and tranquility amid life's chaos. In our age, filled with countless distractions, Stoicism presents a timeless pathway to self-mastery. The principles within Stoic philosophy aren't abstract theories, but practical tools that, when applied, can transform our lives. They teach us to turn adversity into opportunity, to find clarity within turmoil, and to stand firm amidst uncertainty. Imagine no longer seeking external validation, but relying instead on your internal compass. Imagine living each day in alignment with your core values, free from the shackles of fleeting desires or fears of judgment. What does it mean to build a disciplined life through the lens of Stoic wisdom? What practices can bring about a steady, meaningful existence, unshaken by life's unpredictable waves? Today, we'll explore 10 Stoic principles that serve as cornerstones for developing unwavering self-discipline. Stay with us, for it's in the final principle that Marcus Aurelius reveals one of his most profound methods for achieving inner peace and strength, a practice that brings each day to a close with clarity and purpose. Let's begin. 1. Discover your purpose. Purpose is the place where our deep interests meet the world's needs. The journey towards self-discipline begins with discovering a purpose that resonates deeply with who you are. What truly matters to you? What are you drawn to accomplish, even in the face of challenges? For Marcus Aurelius, finding purpose was more than a philosophical pursuit. It was a daily compass guiding his every decision, whether trivial or monumental. Purpose, in Stoicism, is not about lofty ideals or unattainable goals, but about aligning your actions with your core values and virtues. It's about living in agreement with nature, understanding your role in the larger scheme, and acting with harmony toward that calling. In Stoicism, purpose isn't a singular event you uncover in a moment of revelation. Rather, it's an ongoing, evolving journey. Imagine waking up each day with a clear sense of direction, knowing that each action, no matter how small, contributes to something greater. How does that change the way you approach your day? By understanding your deeper motivations, you make decisions that reflect who you are and what you stand for. This, in turn, creates a foundation for self-discipline that remains steady, regardless of external circumstances. To find this purpose, Stoicism encourages self-reflection and awareness. Ask yourself, what is worth your time and energy? Which tasks leave you fulfilled? And what problems are you eager to solve? Often, the clues to our purpose lie in these questions. For Marcus Aurelius, purpose was inseparable from his sense of duty as a ruler and his dedication to self-improvement. He saw his role not as a source of power, but as an opportunity to serve, to make choices in line with his principles, and to leave the world better for his having been in it. In today's world, filled with distractions and countless choices, discovering purpose may seem overwhelming. Yet, this is where Stoic wisdom becomes not only helpful, but essential. By focusing on what truly matters, Stoicism teaches us to peel back the layers of superficial desires and fleeting emotions to reveal what is essential for our well-being and growth. What would life look like if each morning you asked yourself, "What am I meant to do today?" And each evening reflected, "Have I lived true to my purpose?" Building self-discipline around purpose means learning to say no to distractions that do not serve your greater aim, and yes to actions that do. With every decision aligned with purpose, you become more resilient, less swayed by external influences, and grounded in a life of meaning. You cultivate the discipline needed to live a purposeful, impactful life by consistently asking, is this action taking me closer to or further from my purpose? Let this Stoic insight guide your daily actions. Purpose isn't found in grand achievements or public accolades. It's found in fulfilling the duties life has placed before you with integrity and commitment. Over time, this alignment with purpose strengthens your willpower, builds your resilience, and grounds your discipline. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that understanding one's purpose is what pushes you out of bed in the morning, ready to face the challenges of the day. What purpose will drive you forward today and each day to come? As we move to the next principle, let's keep this foundation in mind. Purpose gives direction, and direction fosters discipline. But self-discipline also requires us to face the realities of life, unembellished by illusions. For this, we turn to the Stoic principle of mastering the dichotomy of control. 2. Master the dichotomy of control. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Once we have a clear purpose guiding our path, the next step in building self-discipline is to understand the concept central to Stoicism, the dichotomy of control. This principle asks us to distinguish between what is within our control and what lies beyond it. At first glance, this may seem straightforward, yet it holds profound implications for how we navigate life's many challenges. Consider a common source of stress in modern life: traffic delays, unexpected schedule changes, or even a colleague's critical remark. In these moments, how often do we find ourselves reacting with frustration, worry, or even anger? The Stoic approach would prompt us to pause and ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, then why allow it to disturb our peace? Stoicism teaches that becoming attached to outcomes we cannot control is a sure path to inner turmoil. Instead, we should focus our energies on what we can govern: our own thoughts, choices, and responses. What does this look like in practice? Imagine you're preparing for an important presentation. You may not control the audience's reactions or external factors, but you can control your preparation, your mindset, and your response. This focus on controllables leads to a calm, disciplined approach, free from the weight of unnecessary worry. When we channel our energy into actions that we can influence, we conserve our inner resources, allowing us to face challenges with resilience and clarity. To master this principle, we must first accept that while we can influence certain aspects of life, control is never absolute. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on this truth, noting that while he could govern his own mind, he could not control the empire's unpredictable turns. For a ruler as powerful as Aurelius, this lesson was vital. He accepted the limitations of his power, focusing instead on his capacity for reason and virtue. This acceptance, far from being a resignation, became a source of strength. In the modern world, the dichotomy of control can profoundly transform how we set goals and expectations. When we tie our happiness or self-worth to external achievements, we leave ourselves vulnerable to forces beyond our command. Stoicism offers a liberating perspective. Find satisfaction in the pursuit itself, in the commitment to your values, and in the effort you bring to each task. This way, regardless of outcomes, you maintain inner peace and satisfaction. Ask yourself throughout the day, is this within my control? If the answer is no, practice letting it go. Focus instead on your actions, your virtues, and your responses. Each time you choose to release attachment to uncontrollable outcomes, you strengthen your discipline, preparing yourself for even greater challenges. Mastering the dichotomy of control brings a deep sense of inner peace and resilience, but it also lays the groundwork for another crucial element of self-discipline: self-reliance. This concept, which Marcus Aurelius advocated so strongly, reminds us that ultimate accountability lies within. With this understanding, we move to our next principle. 3. Develop self-reliance. Count on yourself. Self-reliance is the foundation of inner strength. In Stoic philosophy, self-reliance isn't about isolation or rejecting help from others. Rather, it's the recognition that ultimate responsibility for our growth, decisions, and actions rests within. Stoicism teaches that we should rely on ourselves, not as a way to distance from others, but as a pathway to personal accountability and independence. Marcus Aurelius embodied this ideal, understanding that he could only count on his inner resources to navigate the demands of life as both emperor and philosopher. How often do we look to others to validate our choices or bolster our confidence? In a world filled with external influences, it can be tempting to seek approval from friends, family, or society at large. Yet, when we become dependent on external validation, we surrender control of our own happiness. Stoicism teaches us to look within for assurance and to build confidence grounded not in arrogance but in competence. By cultivating self-reliance, we can trust in our abilities to face life's uncertainties with resilience. The essence of self-reliance is simple: focus on strengthening your own abilities, understanding your values, and trusting in your reasoned judgment. This trust frees you from the constant need for external validation, empowering you to make decisions based on your principles rather than fleeting opinions. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that the most reliable counsel one could have was their own internal guidance, rooted in reason and virtue. In practical terms, self-reliance can begin with small commitments. Consider setting personal goals and taking deliberate steps to achieve them independently. Whether it's improving a skill, completing a task, or overcoming a fear, each accomplishment reinforces the discipline that builds self-reliance. By consistently fulfilling commitments to ourselves, we develop a steady confidence that withstands external pressures and cultivates true independence. Ask yourself, am I counting on myself in this situation? When you trust in your own abilities and judgment, you develop the inner strength to remain calm amid adversity. This strength enables you to face challenges with composure and resolve, as you are no longer swayed by the opinions or expectations of others. In a world where we often look outward for answers, Stoicism invites us to look inward. Self-reliance does not mean rejecting others, but it does mean taking responsibility for your own journey. From this self-reliance flows a sense of persistence, a dedication to showing up daily with unwavering commitment, a theme we explore further in the next principle. 4. Embrace persistence and daily effort. Discipline is forged not through monumental acts, but through small, consistent steps. Self-discipline finds its strength in persistence. The Stoics understood that true resilience comes not from sporadic acts of greatness, but from showing up every day, no matter how ordinary or routine the tasks may seem. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily discipline, reminding himself that life demanded consistent effort, not grand accomplishments, but steady, sincere dedication to his duties and principles. In today's fast-paced world, where motivations rise and fall quickly, persistence is a rare and valuable trait. Stoicism teaches that it's not the intensity of our actions, but their regularity that builds lasting discipline. To show up daily to be present in your tasks without yielding to distraction, is the core of Stoic resilience. Consider how often we're inspired by a vision or goal, but find our enthusiasm waning when the novelty fades. Stoicism invites us to stay grounded, to take each day as a new opportunity to live our values, regardless of how we feel in the moment. This isn't about forcing ourselves into endless productivity. It's about refusing to let a day slip by unused or unnoticed. To embrace persistence, start by identifying what showing up means to you. Perhaps it's a daily writing practice, a 5-minute exercise, or 10 undistracted minutes with a loved one. The scale isn't as important as the regularity. Each day that you follow through, you reinforce your willpower, building the resilience that Stoicism prizes. Stoicism emphasizes the power of now. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about focusing on the present, urging himself to perform the task at hand with full attention, setting aside the burdens of yesterday and the worries of tomorrow. This focus transforms routine into ritual and effort into improvement. What task could you approach with fresh commitment today? Persistence is not glamorous, but it is transformative. It molds character and instills the discipline that stands firm against life's trials. As we move forward, let's consider how this steadfastness prepares us to handle discomfort with composure, as we explore in the next principle, voluntary discomfort. 5. Practice voluntary discomfort. Fortify yourself for the inevitable hardships by choosing small discomforts. In the Stoic philosophy, there is a recurring emphasis on preparing oneself for the trials life may present. Marcus Aurelius, like other Stoics, advocated for a practice that may seem counterintuitive in our comfort-seeking society: voluntary discomfort. Why would anyone willingly step into hardship? The answer lies in building resilience and strengthening our mind against the inevitable adversities life may bring. To live a disciplined life, Stoicism teaches us not to rely on ideal circumstances, but to build the mental fortitude to remain steady even in times of difficulty. Voluntarily experiencing discomfort helps to develop this resilience, training our mind to endure and adapt. Think of it as exercising your resilience muscle. The stronger it becomes, the less you'll be thrown off balance by life's challenges. When discomfort arrives unexpectedly, it won't be foreign or unsettling because you've already become acquainted with its lessons. Consider simple ways to incorporate voluntary discomfort into your life. This could mean skipping a meal, enduring physical exertion, or foregoing certain luxuries. Each act of voluntary discomfort serves to remind you that comfort is not a necessity but a choice, and one that we can live without. By doing so, we train ourselves to view comfort as a luxury, a gift rather than an expectation. How might your perspective on comfort change if you chose to go without it periodically? Imagine the shift in appreciation you would feel. Missing a meal might make you savor your next meal more deeply. Opting to walk rather than drive can foster gratitude for mobility and health. Stoicism teaches that by voluntarily stepping into less comfortable spaces, we cultivate a sense of gratitude for the everyday comforts we might otherwise take for granted. Moreover, voluntary discomfort bridges the gap between our lives and those who live with discomfort daily. It fosters empathy and humility, connecting us to the broader human experience. Many around the world live with hardships, not by choice, but by necessity. Embracing discomfort, then, allows us to expand our awareness, building not only resilience but compassion. This practice of enduring small discomforts becomes a gateway to self-discipline. Each act of controlled discomfort strengthens our ability to face life's larger challenges with a calm and composed mind. The Stoics understood that growth often happens at the edges of our comfort zones. What discomfort could you embrace today to strengthen your own resilience? As we cultivate resilience through voluntary hardship, we are naturally led to the next vital Stoic principle, delayed gratification. By choosing to wait for greater rewards, we discipline our impulses and strengthen our self-control. 6. Learn delayed gratification. Choose the long road of fulfillment over the short path of fleeting pleasures. Delayed gratification for the Stoic is more than just resisting a momentary impulse. It's about aligning one's choices with long-term values and goals. In a world focused on instant rewards, the Stoic practice of patience and restraint becomes all the more powerful. Marcus Aurelius saw discipline as a means of liberating oneself from the chains of fleeting desires. Through delayed gratification, Stoicism teaches us that true contentment lies not in momentary pleasures, but in enduring fulfillment. The path of delayed gratification begins with a simple yet powerful realization. What we desire in the moment is often not what will bring us lasting happiness. Stoicism invites us to pause, to ask ourselves whether our choices align with our values, and to resist the pull of immediate satisfaction. By choosing actions that serve our higher aims, we strengthen our character and create a disciplined, fulfilled life. In practical terms, delayed gratification can manifest in various ways. Imagine you're tempted to make an impulsive purchase or indulge in a quick pleasure that doesn't align with your long-term goals. By choosing to wait, to save, or to redirect that impulse, you exercise control over your desires. Each time you make this choice, you reinforce a mindset rooted in Stoicism and self-discipline. What is a recent impulse you could have delayed for a greater reward? How might that small sacrifice contribute to your overall growth? The Stoic approach to gratification is strategic. It's not about denying yourself pleasure for its own sake, but about making choices that lead to a richer, more meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius believed that to be free, we must master our desires rather than letting them rule over us. This mastery involves choosing our actions not based on fleeting impulses, but on reason and foresight. Each act of restraint builds our resilience, training our mind to focus on the bigger picture and freeing us from the pull of immediate pleasure. This deliberate control over one's desires creates a profound inner freedom, a state of autonomy that is central to Stoicism. The practice of delayed gratification teaches us that by choosing the harder path, we often gain the most valuable rewards. As we strengthen our ability to resist fleeting pleasures, we become more resilient, more capable of focusing on our greater purpose. This resilience then empowers us to tackle the challenges life may throw at us without slipping into a victim mentality, another crucial Stoic principle. 7. Avoid the victim mentality. You cannot control what happens, but you can control how you respond. A core tenet of Stoicism is taking ownership of our responses to life's hardships. The Stoics teach that while we may face difficult circumstances, we retain the power to choose our reactions. In other words, we can face life's challenges without succumbing to a victim mentality. For Marcus Aurelius, refusing to play the victim meant asserting agency over his thoughts and actions, regardless of external difficulties. When faced with adversity, how often do we find ourselves assigning blame to others or circumstances? Stoicism asks us to consider a different approach, to recognize our power to respond with resilience and dignity. The victim mentality, on the other hand, strips us of agency, leaving us feeling powerless and at the mercy of our surroundings. By refusing to adopt this mindset, we cultivate a sense of strength and accountability, reinforcing our self-discipline. Rejecting the victim mentality does not mean denying or ignoring life's injustices. Rather, It's about understanding that while we may not control our circumstances, we always control our reactions. Marcus Aurelius saw every challenge as an opportunity to practice virtue, whether it was patience, courage, or perseverance. Each obstacle, he believed, could be transformed into a stepping stone toward greater self-discipline and personal growth. How might you view your current challenges differently if you saw them as opportunities for growth rather than setbacks? Imagine reframing each hardship as a test of your character, a chance to practice resilience and virtue. This mindset shift, central to Stoicism, enables us to approach life with a proactive, empowered attitude. In moments of frustration or disappointment, ask yourself, am I responding with strength or am I falling into a victim mentality? When you choose strength, you reaffirm your commitment to Stoic principles, building a mindset that remains grounded and composed. Each time you take responsibility for your reactions, you cultivate a powerful inner discipline that no external force can take from you. This inner discipline is liberating, allowing you to face life with clarity and resilience. In a world that often emphasizes external control, Stoicism reminds us to focus on the one thing we truly govern: ourselves. By strengthening our response to life's challenges, we gain the freedom to live without dependence on the approval or disapproval of others. And thus, we move to our next principle: staying unmoved by the judgments of naysayers. 8. Stay unmoved by naysayers. True peace comes from within. It cannot be disturbed by the judgments of others. The Stoics understood that one of the most significant barriers to self-discipline is the influence of others' opinions. In a world abundant with criticism, distractions, and unsolicited advice, staying focused on one's path requires resilience. Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about ignoring the noise around him, reminding himself that only his actions and thoughts were within his control. Stoicism teaches us that true inner peace is not swayed by the judgments of others, but is rooted in our adherence to our own values and principles. How often do we find ourselves affected by the opinions of others? Do we alter our course, second-guess our actions, or lose confidence in ourselves because of external criticism? Stoicism encourages us to ask whether these external judgments truly serve us. Most often they don't. To build self-discipline, we must develop the mental resilience to remain steadfast in our goals, regardless of outside opinions. To ignore the naysayers is not to dismiss constructive feedback. Rather, it's about filtering out baseless negativity and recognizing the difference. Ask yourself, is this feedback aligned with my values and purpose, or is it a distraction? When we cultivate this discernment, we protect our inner peace, staying grounded in our actions and decisions. Imagine the strength you would possess if the criticism of others no longer affected your confidence or derailed your focus. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that while the opinions of others are beyond our control, our response to them is entirely within our grasp. Instead of allowing baseless criticism to shake us, we can choose to remain anchored in our inner convictions, knowing that our choices are made with intention and purpose. In practical terms, staying unmoved by naysayers means building a personal philosophy strong enough to withstand external pressures. It means seeking validation not from the world around us, but from within, based on our alignment with Stoic virtues and our adherence to personal principles. Each time you choose to listen to your inner guidance rather than external judgments, you strengthen your self-discipline. Think of a time when someone's negative opinion caused you to doubt yourself. What if, instead, you had remained resolute, grounded in your own values? Stoicism reminds us that peace and resilience are cultivated by consistently prioritizing what we believe in over the judgments of others. This strength then prepares us for the next principle of building self-discipline, emulating those who inspire us with their wisdom and virtue. 9. Emulate virtuous role models. Look to those who embody wisdom, courage, and integrity, and learn from their example. In Stoic practice, learning from those who embody virtues we admire is a profound tool for personal growth. Marcus Aurelius often looked to role models, both living and historical, to guide his actions and judgments. Stoicism teaches that emulating wise individuals isn't about imitation, but about drawing inspiration from their virtues, using them as a standard to elevate our own character and discipline. Who are the people you admire? Are there individuals whose lives demonstrate resilience, integrity, or wisdom? Stoicism encourages us to seek out these role models, studying their approaches to life's challenges and reflecting on the qualities that make them admirable. By observing their actions and decisions, we gain insights that can refine our own behavior, helping us embody the principles we respect in others. Emulating virtuous role models bridges the gap between philosophy and action. It transforms abstract values into practical examples, showing us how Stoic principles can be lived out daily. Marcus Aurelius recognized the value of learning from others, even as an emperor. He saw wisdom as something to be sought continually, not as a personal achievement, but as a collective inheritance passed down by those who had walked the path of virtue before him. In your journey of self-discipline, take time to identify role models who resonate with your values. Reflect on how they handle adversity, make decisions, and stay true to their principles. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this person's approach to life? How can I incorporate their wisdom into my own actions? This practice of emulation is not passive admiration, but active reflection, a way to strengthen your discipline by setting higher standards for yourself. By surrounding yourself with influences that encourage virtue, you create a pathway to self-improvement rooted in Stoic principles. Whether they are historical figures, mentors, or even fictional characters, the presence of these role models in your life acts as a guide, reminding you of the qualities you strive to embody. As you deepen your understanding of self-discipline through the guidance of role models, you prepare yourself for the final Stoic principle, one that is both reflective and transformative, the practice of daily self-review. 10. Engage in daily reflection. Each day is a chance to reflect, to learn, and to grow wiser than the day before. The Stoic path to self-discipline culminates in one of its most powerful practices, daily self-reflection. For Marcus Aurelius, this habit of examining his thoughts, actions, and responses was foundational to his growth. Each night, he would reflect on the day's events, asking himself if he had acted according to his values and if there was room for improvement. Stoicism teaches us that this practice is not about judgment, but about continuous learning, allowing us to refine our character with each passing day. Imagine ending each day with a few moments of quiet reflection. As you consider the events of the day, ask yourself, did I act in alignment with my principles? How did I respond to challenges? What could I do better tomorrow? This exercise brings clarity, helping you to identify where you stayed true to your purpose and where you may have fallen short. Over time, daily reflection builds self-discipline by encouraging accountability and reinforcing your commitment to Stoic virtues. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to lose sight of our goals and values amid daily distractions. Yet, by engaging in daily self-review, we ground ourselves in our purpose, ensuring that our actions reflect the principles we hold dear. Marcus Aurelius viewed this practice as a way to maintain accountability to himself, not out of self-criticism, but as a gentle reminder to strive for continuous improvement. What would your life look like if you spent a few moments each evening asking these reflective questions? The Stoics believed that this habit of self-review sharpens our awareness, making us more mindful and deliberate in our actions. It serves as a feedback loop, allowing us to learn from our experiences and make adjustments that align us more closely with our ideals. As you commit to this practice, remember that self-reflection is not about perfection. Stoicism teaches that growth is a gradual process, achieved through small, consistent efforts. By engaging in daily reflection, you become both the student and the teacher of your own life, constantly learning and adjusting in pursuit of wisdom and virtue. Incorporating this practice into your daily routine can bring about a profound transformation. It closes each day with intention, helping you to address any unresolved thoughts or stress, and allowing you to start each new day with a clear, focused mind. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the heart of Stoicism and its timeless principles for building self-discipline. As you've seen, Stoic philosophy isn't merely a collection of ideas, it's a powerful, practical guide to living with purpose, resilience, and inner peace. Each of these principles, from discovering purpose to practicing daily reflection, offers a pathway to mastering yourself in a world filled with distractions and challenges. What principle resonated most with you? Which one do you feel most drawn to practice in your life? We invite you to reflect on these questions and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights can enrich our community as we all strive to apply Stoic wisdom in our daily lives. If you found value in these teachings, consider liking this video, subscribing for more content on Stoicism and self-mastery, and sharing it with others who may benefit from the journey. Remember, each day is an opportunity to practice discipline, to embody the virtues that define a life well lived, and to become a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Thank you for being part of this Stoic journey. Until next time, may you live intentionally, practice patience, and keep striving for the virtues that elevate both your character and your spirit.